this stage, all you have to do is make a mental note of the hook you want to go with. And now we're going to finally get into the story building section of the course. So now this is where we're going to put our line 1, line 2. So whatever hook you selected. So we can start by doing that. So go in the same chat with your existing hook that you selected. Make sure sonnet 4.6 is selected. And then you're going to do line 1 and then line 2. And you're just going to copy whatever line 1 and line 2 you're going to go with. So ultimately speaking, if you go with the recommended the recommended hook, so how I story variation 3, all you got to do is just copy. So this is line 1. Just copy that in like this. And then line 2. I'm not a fan of something called M dashes, and M dashes are just these lines in the story. You normally see these in like articles and stuff like that. This is supposed to be a organic feed post. Nobody ever types out and writes out M dashes in their stories. So you see here, there's this like line. This is called an M dash. So I always like to remove it, and the final prompts at the end will remove all M dashes, but sometimes it doesn't remove it for the hooks. So my recommendation to you is to remove it manually when you see it in your hooks there. So anyway. Then from there, we're going to go in, and now we're going to input the Bible section for this avatar. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to do this one more time where we add the Bible section. So it's saying the specific section for the avatar itself, which would require you to pull up the Bible and then copy all this stuff. You don't need to do that. Just go ahead and copy the entire Bible and just paste it in. It's going to be able to pull it for itself. And then you're going to re-emphasize the angle and all this stuff. So it's going to say angle number. So for angle number, right? It's angle number, right? Angle numbers. It's obviously angle number 1. For angle name, you should know the angle name. It's going to be the same angle name that we just selected already. So if I go ahead and do Control F, angle number 1.1, invisible aggressor. So just going to copy that. Boom. Then we're going to go into copy angle frame. So copy angle frame. So that is going to be what we selected up here. You honestly don't even need to fill this part out. If we go into, I believe, go into frame. Yeah, so strategic frame, it's going to tell you right here, strategic frame, frame 2, mechanism reveal. So you can copy it in and put it in. It's going to extract this from the Bible anyways. So I'm going to do it one time, and then after I generate the next set of angles, you're going to notice I'm not going to do all this stuff. It's going to pull it all automatically for me. But I do recommend to do it just one time. Avatar name, and this is Rachel, right? So again, we're going after this section here, and this avatar is Rachel here, right? Rachel. Yep, avatar is Rachel. And then we now need to input market sophistication level. So this you don't need to do anything here. This will be automatically pulled. Offer details. If you wanted to like create like in your copy, you wanted to be you want the AI to know that you offer 30-day money back guarantee or whatever. If you want to throw that in there, that's optional, up to you. You do not need to do that though. So it's just an option for those of you that want to try that. But I recommend you, if you're not sure, I recommend don't bother wasting your time doing it. So this is going to be the longest document here. There's a lot of lines of code that I had to put in to make this actually work and be really, really, really thorough. So you're gonna have to scroll for a decent amount until you can select everything, hit copy. And then you're just going to paste that in. You can see it's its own text document here. All of that is pasted in. A lot of code, a lot of lines of commands. So pretty complex. And that's it. So from there, you're just going to enter with sonnet 4.6 selected. And we're now going to enter pre-flight. So you're getting ready to generate just one ad. All this is to generate one ad. We're going to, at the end, get prompted with the recommended image we should select. And the one story and the one image will make one ad. And we're going to need to do this 4 more times. We're going to generate 4 new hooks for each angle, 1 hook per new angle. So angles 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and then a story and an image to go along with each one. So as you can see here, we have, whoops, let's go down. For some reason, it brought me all the way back up here. But we're going to let it do its thing here. And sometimes Claude can freeze or whatnot. So I'm just going to copy all this just in case if I need to refresh, which it seems like I might need to because this thing here is stopped. So I'm going to hit the refresh here and see. Okay. So that happens from time to time. It will bug out. So I just got to simply go back in and add in the prompts and the Bible. So I'm going to copy this back in, put that in, and put the Bible in. And then give it a sec and then let it load up. And then there we go. So sometimes it can bug out and glitch like that. So now it's going in thinking mode here. Hopefully it doesn't do that again. And it should be good. Yes, awesome. So now we're doing what's called pre-flight. So first, it's going to just let you know, Rachel's confirmed solution aware in Bible section 3.1. She knows chlorine and hard water trigger flare-ups. She has triggered filters. She's tried filters and believed cheap Amazon options are scams. The hook opens with a first-person past tense story of failed solutions and dermatologists. So basically, it's saying, hey, look, from the research and everything we gathered already, this person is solution aware. If you want to, you can override this and say, no, I want to target problem aware, but that doesn't make any sense to do that. It just makes sense to go with the recommended amount from the research we've already gathered. So there's nothing you need to do there. Your first actual option here, and you're going to be prompted with decisions to make. The first one here, which I always recommend, is to go with the first person. This is just going to be the voice of choice. We're going to be narrating from the perspective of a first person, right? I am experiencing this is what I experienced, versus the option 2, which is going to be third person, where the narrator tells Rachel's story from the outside, referring to her as she. So 99.9% of the time, it's always going to be first person. But when you're doing variations and testing different concepts, sometimes you may want to try a third person. But I would recommend you start off with testing all these as first person. Even the AI recommends to just go with first person. So you're just going to do option 1 dash and then just say first person. You're going to hit shift and enter. And then you're going to be prompted with another option here, which is your call to action approach. So there's 3 call to action approaches based off your avatar, the awareness level that they're at, and everything. So option A is the soft native approach. This is basically where you name the brand. So if you tell AI, hey, my brand is called Goalie, we're gonna actually name drop the brand in the long form copy. So eSkin named as a story, detail, reluctant recommendation, tone, mechanism based, marketplace deterrence, link drop casually with no pressure. So we're basically saying at the end of the story, we're gonna have the narrator literally say, hey, I got this product from eSkin. I'm just letting you guys know in case you're curious. I'll drop a link down below if you want to work with that same brand. So that's an option. Option B is gonna be direct, where we literally say, get this product from eSkin. They're the only one that makes the most sense. It's clean, it's urgent. They're gonna a lot of times try to throw in prices. So eSkin is offering $29.99 discount right now, where you can buy two, get one free plus free shipping. So it's gonna sound in the end where the call to action is, it's gonna sound a little bit more direct and a little bit more salesy. And then there's option C, which I've been playing with a lot recently and I really like it, which is the engagement play, where a brand never gets mentioned or dropped. We never say the brand name, never appears anywhere in the copy. The narrator just simply hints at the product and points to a link in the comments, and it's designed to suppress ad recognition and drive comment engagement, which lowers CPMs over time. I recommend in the beginning of testing, go with option C. Option C is literally designed to get you cheaper ad metrics and get people more interested in just engaging and commenting on the post. And it still does a good job of actually getting people curious of where to get the product from without just directly saying the name. So I recommend always going with option C. This is where I mean where, it does require a little bit of human input sometimes, because AI is going to recommend option A. But I think just generally speaking, when you're just starting out to test, I recommend option C, which is engagement play. Totally up to you. But that's just my recommendation there. And then once you get out of testing and you want to start trying different concepts, different ideas, if you find that your ad metrics are doing really good, but you're struggling with getting conversions, that's when you can maybe try a more direct ad where it's like, hey, this is the brand that I recommend going with. They're offering a deal right now, so it only makes sense to go with them. That's when you can start testing that. Cool. Next up is discovery approach. How does your narrator come across the product in the story? So it's going to analyze 3 factors here. So it's going to analyze the avatar resistance type, the market sophistication level, and the mechanism technicality. So it's going to conceptualize all 3 factors here and then give you recommended discovery channels. So far from doing this, the AI has been really good at picking the discovery channel and the discovery source. So I'm just going to go with discovery channel. I'm just going to type in type channel letter A, or letter and source letter. So right here, it's going to give you your options and you just pick the ones. So it's saying it recommends the late night one. So for channel, discovery channel, I'm going to go with the late night one, which is D. And then the source, discovery source, is a pair who had the exact same experience, which is source A. Boom. And then this is also another thing that is optional, which is proof decision. So do we want to throw in an extra level of proof involved, right? Like this peer-reviewed article or this third-party person that's known by the narrator also confirmed the same exact thing to be true. This is totally optional as well. If you do go with proof, it explains what you should do based off the sophistication level, what type of proof, where does it belong in the story, and it recommends if you should include or not, and it gives you the recommendations that it says. So I personally am not going to add in proof for this example. I'm just going to say proof skip, because I don't want to add that in. And then once that's all entered, then you just hit enter there, submit. And then it confirms everything. And then the first thing it's going to do is build a story spine. It's going to tell you what it plans on doing for the hook, the lead type, the agitation, the mechanism, the bridge, right, and the beat. Basically how they came across the product, how it was introduced to them, how they started to experience the product. We elected to skip the proof part. And then now we have this call to action. And then we're going to also approve an engagement comment post that we use to drive engagement. Type approved. So now we're just going to improve each section. So approved. So here we go. We're going to do approved here. And then we're going to just go section by section. Now, I'm not going to go into too much depth here, reading every little detail in every little section. I'm just simply going to go through this as a tutorial. And then later on in the community, you're going to see different examples of how we approach this, decisions we make, ways we're going to navigate the copy based off of what we're reading. But just so you guys are understanding, it's almost impossible for me to read your copy, right? If you were to message me and say, Alex, can you read my copy and tell me if it's good or not? It's going to be almost impossible for me to read your copy and tell you whether it's good or not, simply because I am not in the same shoes as your target audience. So it doesn't make sense to tell me, Alex, read this document and let me know if it's good or not. The only way we're going to know is, one, how much research have you been reading up on and documents you've been going through, and then 2, have you tested it? And if you did test it, what metrics did you get? So and I'm not saying that because I don't want to be lazy and I don't want to read your stories. It's just literally because look at how much complexity is involved to create a story. Think about how many pieces of context and information is required to know who this target audience is. So I can't just read your story without knowing who your target audience is, knowing the angles, the pain points, what your competitors in the market space have gone after. Unless I know that, there's no way for me to tell you whether it's good or not, because good copy just simply resonates with your audience the most. And the only way to know if it's good copy is how well have you been doing with your research, your marketing, and understanding the things that your target audience needs to see before they make a buying decision. And so that's just something really important to understand. So now it's going to generate each section, right? We're going to start off with section 1, which is the lead. What I would do is I would read up on this. If you need to make any changes throughout this or anything like that, you just simply tell Claude what you want. I don't like the tone of this, or I don't like when you mentioned daughters. Daughters. Instead, it should be a son. Right, like any, I'm just picking up random stuff. Anything in these sentences that you want to adjust or change, feel free to do that. But if you like it and it's all good to go, just hit approve, and then you're gonna keep going. And that's how you're gonna generate your stories here. And then it's a pretty simple process from here. So now it's going to craft the problem agitation. So how do we agitate that problem? How do we really get that person to feel and resonate with our story based off of their own core experiences? So remember, AI is not 100% perfect. So there are going to be some things that sound a little stiff, maybe the wording and the language can be a little complex. So if anything sounds weird or too harsh, feel free to adjust. But if not, just keep saying approved. And again, if I were you, I'd actually be reading this and making sure this sounds coherent and cohesive. I've prompted the AI to be really smart, but it's, again, not perfect. So we're just going to hit approved here. And then now it's going to start getting ready to work on the next set of sections here. All right, so that section is there as well. And I'm going to hit approved as well. If you guys are ever lost, confused, questioning a certain section, you can always ask the AI, like, hey, help me explain, or help explain to me, or help me understand this section here. I'm trying to read it and try to understand and make sure it's good, but what are you looking to do when creating this section, right? You can have the AI literally coach you and teach you on what you need to do to make sure you're writing the best copy imaginable. So that's going to be all good there. And now we're going through the solution bridge. If I were you, this is where I would really sit down and make sure that I fully understand and grasp how the AI is positioning the solution. Make sure that your product as well is being positioned properly, the hero placing. How does your product stand out? What makes your product unique? These are things that you really want to spend some time reading through and making sure it's really strong and fortified. Because if it's weak and it's like a little like sentence that doesn't really sound too compelling, no one's going to really care and they're not going to go to your product page. But the more compelling, the more enticing it sounds, the more likely you are to get people to take the extra step and go to your product page there. So this last section here is just the engagement CTA at the end, right? So one of the ways we keep engagement high and keep CPMs low is just getting people to comment and engage. So this is one of those strategies you can use. It's optional. You don't have to use this in every story, but it's something you might want to test. But at the end here, we can have the person say, drop finally below if you're still in the middle of this and have not found the thing that actually reaches it yet. I would try to be like really specific to the pain that the person's going through. So I would say, drop shower if you're tired of all the, bullshit shower heads out there on the market space, or type water if you're tired of feeling itchy and dandruff and all that stuff. Right, like try to make it as like relatable and as engaging as possible. For the sake of this tutorial, again, I'm just going to go with what they're recommended. So I'm going to type finally here, and then we have a couple more things that are going to happen, and then we can pretty much wrap up the strategy here. So really simple. Really straightforward. It just requires you to just read up a little bit and make sure everything sounds congruent. By the way, if you're like, Alex, I don't know what I need to do with my copy to make it sound better or not, make sure you're reading your documents, understand your target avatar, understand the things that they are saying verbatim, and just make sure your copy aligns with that and resonates with that. And so we're going to get our last CTA here. I'm going to hit approve. And then we're going to get a synopsis and a final report. It's going to ask me one more time, you sure you want that CTA? You don't want the CTA? And I'm going to say, yeah, I don't. And I'm going to hit done. Or the proof in, sorry, not CTA, your proof. I'm not going to do it for the sake of this tutorial, but if you need to, or if it recommends it, I recommend you do the same. So now we're done with the story. The story's done here. It's going to give you a story analysis. It's going to tell you some things to look out for, and give you kind of like somewhat of a recap, tone consistency. It's going to give you a total word count. Don't worry if your word count's below or above the target range. It's totally okay. Just make sure your story sounds good. That's ultimately what matters the most. It's also going to tell you what image concepts it recommends you try to generate and pair with this ad. So it's going to give you the 3 different types, and all you need is to pick one of these 3 images to generate, or if you want to elect to go with a image you found off of Facebook organically or Reddit and use that instead, that's totally okay as well. The point is that we want an engaging, compelling image to go well with your native long form story. So then you're going to get a score sheet here at the end. And these score sheets are, again, theory. They're not like 100% guaranteed, like this is exactly what's happening, but the AI is going to use deductive reasoning and its information that it has right now to make educated guesses and give you a rough score. And then from here, if everything looks good and you like how it all sounds and seems, then all you have to do is the last step here, which is hit output. And it's going to even tell you one thing to fix before launch. Don't worry too much about this because you haven't even tested the ads yet. You don't know if they're good or bad yet, so you don't need to start adjusting and tweaking the ads before you even tested them yet. So last but not least, just hit output. Hit output there, and then it should give you a clean formatted version of your story, which you can then easily copy and throw straight into your Facebook ads. Now, while we're here, I'll probably have a separate section on this, but we'll do it in the same training here just so it's very congruent for you guys. It's important that we understand that we're only generating 1 image per story. So that's kind of all you really need to do for that. All right, so my preferred recommendation here is to use Higgsfield to generate your images. It just is one of the most compelling and best image generating tools, especially for like organic, natural images. So what we'll need to do here is scroll back up, and you can see we have a recommended image prompting here. So prompting is already done for you, and the images are designed to try to capture a moment in the person's story. When we're creating images for native images, we don't want these to be too bulky, too wacky, too crazy, unless that's what's compelling enough to get people to stop the scroll. But I always recommend starting off with just a image that feels like someone naturally and organically posted that on Facebook. So what we can literally do is just copy one of these, go into Higgsfield here. We go to Higgsfield Soul 2.0. We're always going to do a 1x1 format. And then what we can do is I like to personally get 2 examples. So I'm going to do Higgsfield Soul 2.0. I'm going to generate 2 of those in a 1x1 format. I'm also going to do, because I have the credits and the membership to do this, I'm also going to do, that's Higgsfield Soul 2.0. I'm going to do Higgsfield Soul 2, just regular Higgsfield Soul. I'm going to make sure it's a 1x1 on 2000 quality. I'm also going to do 2 as well for the batch, but I'm going to make sure I'm on the realistic version, and I'm going to generate 2 of those as well. Apparently there's restricted content in there. Is there a child in there? I'm not even read the script. You can't generate images with Higgsfield Soul. So boom, boom, boom. Mother standing at the edge of a tub, angry. Okay. I don't know why. Is it because it's generating emotion? Okay. If that happens, then we can just go ultimately with Nana Banana Pro. So sometimes AI will not allow you to generate images for whatever reason. So we'll paste that in there, do a 1 by 1. And I'm going to use, because I have the credits to do this, I'm going to do 4. And we're going to just do 2 credits here and see what that gets me. Another one that I've recently been messing around with is it Flux Context? Yeah, Flux Context is, I've been messing around with this a little bit as well. And apparently this is also really good. Now, I obviously know that not everyone can just start generating a ton of images, but be conservative with the image generation that you use. But just make sure you pick a good one. Apparently, whatever they have me generating in this image is just restricted across the board. I guess at least with Higgsfield. Higgsfield Soul generates the most realistic images, but they're more strict on what they allow you to generate. I don't know why specifically it's not letting me generate anything. But while that's going on, I'm going to also try to generate this as well. And I think it's because the baby monitor visible. I think it's because I have the word mother in there. I think that might be it, because Higgsfield is very sensitive to generating kids. Oh, is there I guess there is children in the image. So yeah, that's definitely what it is. I don't like these images. These don't look natural and authentic and organic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate these other ones here and see if I like these. If I don't, we have a whole separate section on how to generate images that are a lot better than this one. But I'm going to throw this in here. Yeah, I don't like these, because you got to think about it. Would someone post themselves looking at their child in the bathtub natively on Facebook? Probably not. So what you can always do too is you can also kind of like you can let the AI know. So this is your story here, so you'll be able to copy this. But in the same chat, you can say, the images you gave me are not native enough. Think for a moment. Would a mother post a photo of herself staring at her child in her bathtub on Facebook? I need these photos to look and feel candid, as if someone naturally took them on Facebook. Took them on their phone and uploaded it to Facebook. It should not feel stock or unnatural. So I have a whole separate section on creating better native image ads. So we'll definitely, I highly recommend going into that training. I'll show you how to use ChatGPT to then filter that out and throw it into Higgsfield. But Claude does give you some recommendations here based off of the story itself. You can also throw the story into ChatGPT and use the prompting. There's a couple different ways to do this. The images do matter. But we can prompt Claude and say, hey, do a better job. And then it's going to say what it is, a photo of a bathroom counter in a cabinet. Okay, so we can copy this one here and throw this in and see if this does a better job. Yeah, ultimately speaking, you want to use Higgsfield. If there's children involved in the image at all, Higgsfield's not going to let you generate it though. So let's see here if these are better. Higgsfield Soul, Higgsfield, boom. Probably should read these up here. Bathroom, not styled. Okay, so it's giving me the product and brand name. Close up of a ceramic filtered face shower head. Okay, this might be better. So the image recommendations provided to you by Claude are just that, recommendations. You do not have to go by them. I'm going to show you another approach here that you can take with your images. So don't stress out. But I like to just kind of generate the ones that Claude recommends. If I like them, great. If I don't, then I'll go in and I'll use a different prompt and strategy to see if I can get a better one. So we'll quickly see if any of these are better. If not, you'll see in the separate training here how to create your images. Okay, this is a little bit better, but I don't like all the logo and branding, but I do get the concept here. It's like supposed to be like skincare and stuff like that, eczema skincare stuff. So let's see, give it another second here. Okay, this is better. These are better images. The concept though still kind of sucks in my. Oh, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. This 100%, 1000% would be an image I would use. 1,000,000%. That is a scroll stopping hook right there. It's a very dirty shower head. Oh man, yeah, I would use this. 100% would use this. There we go. So as you can see here, it's my recommendation to you to not just be a robot and just do everything the AI says. Use a little bit of brain power, and if you try a little bit harder, you can get better results. This is what I'm talking about, right? Dirty faucets. This will stop a scroll, and it will resonate with the right people. So there you go. That's what I would do there. So there you go. I would download this image, and then I would have this story ready to go, and that'd be my first ad, which will go under the ad set targeting this avatar. So all you would need to do now, guys, because all the information and all that stuff is in there, you need to do this 4 more times. So it's very simple from here. Let's actually do it together real quick. Now, I need you to create a list of hooks for avatar 1, Rachel, but angle 2. That's it. You don't have to now go back and recopy the documents and prompting, because now it knows what to do. And now you're going to pick a hook. You're going to generate a new image. I recommend to give yourself the best likelihood of having good performance, a whole new concept. So don't generate 3 images of dirty shower heads now and dirty filtered dirty showers. So now try to use a little bit of brain power and find 4 other image types. And Claude is going to give you some recommendations, but I'm going to show you in the next training how you can come up with a list of different image concepts and try to have unique image concepts that are different. Because again, one potential customer might come across one of your ads today, and then tomorrow they might come across another one. If we're hitting them from different images and different points, they'll be more likely to convert versus them seeing the same exact ad 2 days in a row, or same similar type of image ad. So now you just do this again. So now you go through, read up on this, obviously pick whichever one makes the most sense. I recommend for angles 2, 3, 4, and 5, try a different hook strategy. So if it recommends, so we were first recommended framework E, and now we're being recommended, I think, framework C. Yes. So framework C is going to be the direct avatar callout. So that's good. We're getting recommended automatically a different callout. So just make sure your ads feel a little bit different. They are different angles and they are speaking to the same avatar, but different components of your ads will allow you to go back into the feedback looping process. Tell Claude, okay, this ad had this callout targeting this angle and it did better than the other ones. Explain to me why this one did better and how we can create more variations of this. So we're going to go with this one here. All we got to do is just say, let's go with framework C var 1. So this is now the same avatar, but now we're talking on angle 2, right? Here's a quick recap here. You can see here, once I prompted Claude, let's say angle 2 now, you can see we're now going after angle 1.2, a mother's desperate search. So this is a whole different angle now. Same person, we're still talking to Rachel. She's still the #1 ranked avatar, but now we're trying to find another way to speak to Rachel. So go through, read up on this. So now it's going to run the pre-flight checklist. So let's go with framework C var 1. Now it knows what the pre-flight checklist is. So it's going to start going through everything, and now you got to just start picking everything. So you're going to go with option 1. I would recommend option 1 there. And then now I pick a different CTA type. Let's do option B. All right, what does it recommend? Oh, this one recommends engagement play. So we could go engagement play again. We could also just switch it up if we wanted to. So we could do option B for the CTA type. Discovery source. I'm just going to say go with the recommended discovery channel and source. So it knows which one it's going after. Oops. Yep. And then for proof, this time let's add in the proof. What does it recommend? It says, okay, so it recommends we should include proof. So if proof is included, what type? For proof, go with the recommended type and placement. Obviously, don't be lazy like I am right now. Again, this is just a tutorial, so I'm not obviously reading everything and spending time going through everything. You should be, it says proof 2-C. You should be actually reading up on this and making sure you're intentional about making sure each ad, you're paying attention to the variables that you're changing and why you're changing them. So when you run your ads and you're seeing what performance is good, what performance is bad, you can look to specific variables between your ads and see which ones are doing well and which ones are not doing well for you. So now it flags it and says, hey, look, you said you wanted a certain type of CTA, but we need to know the product price, the guarantee terms, and include what comes with the purchase. So all you got to do is just fill this out. So the price is $139. I'm just going to do, yeah, we'll just say $139. $139. Guarantee, we're going to say 60-day money back guarantee. And then includes a free ebook on how to have better hair and skin. Boom. There you go. And just be intentional about what you're changing from ad to ad. Make sure you're paying close attention to the different variables. Because again, when we go to test, we got to just make sure we know why we are testing different variables and which ones are performing better for us. And then hit approved. And you're going to just go through this again. We're going to generate another batch of images, pick the best one. And then we're going to have 5 angles, 5 ads. And all these ads here that we're going to launch is going to go into one ad set, one CBI. I'll show you guys how that looks like in the ad manager in just the next set of trainings here. We'll go through this, read this, make sure this is all good. I'm just going to keep approving until we get to the end here. Alrighty, so we should be good to go here. And just as another reminder, because I just want to make sure I am as clear as possible, when we're launching our first testing campaign, we're going to launch one CBO, one ad set. And under that ad set will be 5 ads. Each ad will just target one angle to the same avatar. So each story will be different and each image will be different. So hopefully you guys are clear and concise on that. Again, we're going to do an example launch of this exact product here in just a moment. So yeah, we're going to now focus on creating a completely different image concept here. I just kind of sped through and accepted everything and approved everything here, but we should have a finalized story when we hit done. And we're going to just copy a bathroom, morning light, shower head resting in the holder. Okay, we'll just generate this and see what we got here. So we're going to try to come up with a new concept here for the images that we select. And if it's a shower head, again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but the goal here is to just make these images feel unique and different, but still relate to the story. And again, you can go with the recommended ones here from Claude. You can, speak to Claude a little bit and try to tell it, hey, this is what you should do. Here's how we can make it better. If you're not getting the image prompting that you want, totally up to you. I'll have a separate script again in a separate training showing you what you can do as an alternative. I'm also going to show you the Facebook strategy on how you can kind of scroll through on Facebook organic and see what organic posts have done well and kind of nab in those posts. So you have a couple different options to pick images to go along with your stories. And, that's totally going to be up to you and what you're seeing here. So I'm just going to throw up some concepts here. And we're going to get a quick little breakdown. And then when we're ready, we can just do output. And then now this is going to be our second ad that will go under that same ad set. We're speaking to the same avatar, just in a separate way, in a second angle. So that's going to generate, and you do this 3 more times. Again, you would now, right? So we've created an ad for angle 1.1, and now we just finished our ad for angle 1.2. So now you got to create an ad for angle 1.3, angle 1.4, and then angle 1.5. And then you have that ready to roll. Cool. And then, we'll just use one of these images here. I have no idea what I didn't read any of these image scripts. If I were you, I would sit down and read them and make sure they're good before you generate them and use up credits. I have no idea where this how this would relate to the story at all. I didn't even really read the story, but you would pay attention and make sure you go through that thoroughly. So yeah, I guess this makes sense, right? Like a cabinet of different like topicals and treatments and ointments. I guess you can test that as well. That's a different concept when we talk about a different type of image. Clearly, this is going to be different and emotionally different than this. All right, so that's going to treat and accept. That's going to spike different types of emotion each way. So I think hopefully with these 2 examples, you guys get the gist here, right? You would now create 3 more. And then once you're done and you have the images and you have the stories, the 5 total stories, right? 5 completely new stories that are speaking to the same avatar, you're going to be ready to launch your ads inside of Facebook ads here. So that's essentially it. So we'll wrap up this tutorial here. If you want to, you can go to the next training, which will just show you the different ways you can get different images. And then we'll finally get into the ad account and launch these bad boys here.